We open in 1945, near the end of World War II. A young kamikaze fighter pilot named Koichi Shikishima lands his plane on Odo Island at a small repair base. Now here is the thing about Shikishima. His plane is fine. There is nothing wrong with it. He claimed it had mechanical issues, but the mechanics check every inch of that aircraft and find nothing. He did not land because of engine trouble. He landed because he could not bring himself to die. A mechanic named Tachibana figures this out almost immediately, but does not press him too hard. That night, the island base is attacked, not by enemy soldiers, by something else entirely. A massive creature emerges from the water. The locals have a name for it: Godzilla. The mechanics on the base grab their weapons and fight back. They are completely outmatched. Godzilla tears through them one by one. Here is the terrible part. Shikishima is sitting in a fighter plane with a loaded weapon. He is the only one who could potentially do something, and he freezes completely. He cannot pull the trigger. He sits there, paralyzed by the same fear that made him land the plane in the first place, and watches every single mechanic on that base get killed. When morning comes, Godzilla is gone. Shikishima is the only survivor, and Tachibana, the one mechanic who somehow made it through, he tells him, "Those men died because of you," and he is not entirely wrong. Japan surrenders. The war ends. Shikishima returns to Tokyo, and there is almost nothing left. His entire neighborhood has been bombed flat. His family is gone. His home is rubble. His neighbor, a woman named Sumiko, sees him return and does not hide how she feels. She tells him, "Cowards like you are the reason this happened to us." He deserved that. He knows it. He does not argue. Shikishima runs into a young woman named Noriko, who is being chased through a market after stealing a blanket. She is carrying a baby that is not hers. A tiny girl named Akiko, whose mother begged Noriko to take her during the bombing and never came back. Neither Noriko nor Shikishima has anyone. Neither of them has anything. So without much discussion, they end up sharing what remains of Shikishima's destroyed home. Two strangers and an orphaned baby, surviving in a country that has nothing left to give. Slowly, reluctantly, they build something. Not a romance exactly, not right away. More like two people clinging to the same wreckage and slowly realizing they have started to care about it. To support the little family they have accidentally become, Shikishima takes the most dangerous job he can find: minesweeping. Japan's coastal waters are still littered with naval mines left over from the war. Boats go out, locate the mines, and destroy them. It pays well, because the odds of dying are considerable. Noriko begs him not to do it. She points out that he just survived a war. Does he really need to go looking for ways to almost die again? But they need money. They need to feed Akiko. And there are not a lot of options for traumatized ex-pilots in post-war Japan. He promises her he will come home. On the boat, he meets a crew that will become his closest companions. There is Noda, a former weapons developer who is sharp, calm, and very good at solving problems nobody else can. There is Captain Akitsu, who is stubborn and fiercely loyal. And there is Mizushima, a young man who has never seen combat and is maybe a little too enthusiastic about the whole thing. Shikishima, the former fighter pilot, turns out to be an extraordinary shot. He destroys mines with a machine gun with unsettling precision. The crew is impressed. Meanwhile, somewhere in the Pacific, the United States has been conducting nuclear tests. One of those tests happens very close to where a certain prehistoric creature has been sleeping at the bottom of the ocean, and something wakes up. Reports start coming in from across the Pacific. Ships are vanishing. Warships, submarines, commercial vessels, all encountering something massive. Shikishima and his crew are out on the water when they come across a destroyed vessel drifting in silence. Dead fish everywhere, floating on the surface, and Shikishima recognizes this immediately. He says, "I have seen this before." Then Godzilla surfaces. But this is not the same creature they heard about from Odo Island. Whatever the nuclear testing did to it, it has grown enormously. The crew manages to damage it with a massive combined mine bomb, and Shikishima shoots another mine directly into Godzilla's open mouth. For a moment, it seems like it might actually work. and then Godzilla's jaw regenerates in real time. It is at this point that the entire crew realizes they are in serious trouble. Japan's most powerful warship arrives to help. A destroyer that was supposed to be the nation's last great weapon. Godzilla walks through it like it is made of paper. Then Godzilla charges up. Its spines light up from the base toward its head, a slow, terrifying glow, and then it fires. An atomic heat ray that does not just destroy the warship, it atomizes it. Nothing is left. Shikishima and his surviving crew barely escape. He ends up in a hospital. That night, back at home, Noriko pushes Shikishima to finally tell her what is going on. He has been carrying this for years, and she can see it on him. So he tells her everything, about being a kamikaze pilot, about landing at Odo Island because he could not go through with it, about sitting frozen in that plane while every mechanic on the base was killed one by one, about how Tachibana blamed him and how he was right to. He tells her he does not feel like he deserves to be alive, that every morning he wakes up and thinks of the faces of those men and cannot figure out how he is still here, and they are not. Noriko listens, and then she does something quietly remarkable. She does not tell him it was not his fault. She does not minimize what happened. She just tells him he is still here, that she and Akiko are here, and that matters. He cries. It is one of the most human moments in any monster movie ever made. The government issues warnings. Godzilla is moving toward Tokyo. Noriko, who has taken a job in a nearby city, is on a train when the warnings start coming through. The city begins to shake. People panic. And then Godzilla comes ashore. Godzilla does not stomp through the city in slow motion while buildings crumble neatly in the background. It tears through infrastructure, throws trains, and absorbs everything the military throws at it without slowing down. The army fires artillery. Godzilla does not even flinch. Then it charges up again, those spines lighting up one by one. Shikishima fights through the chaos to find Noriko. He gets close enough to see her, and then the shockwave hits. Noriko pushes him behind a concrete wall, shielding him. And when the wave passes, she is gone. More than 30,000 people die in the attack. Hundreds of thousands of homes are destroyed. A memorial is held for Noriko. Akiko is now in Sumiko's care, and Shikishima sits with the photograph of the mechanics from Odo Island and tells himself he has failed again. Then Noda comes to him with something. A plan. A real one. The government cannot officially act because of post-war restrictions and political pressure. So this operation is being put together by civilians, veterans, engineers, survivors. People who have lost everything and decided they are not going to lose anything else. The plan is to lure Godzilla into Sagami Bay. They will use 2 ships and a cable system to drag Godzilla down into the trench, where the crushing pressure should damage or destroy it. And if that is not enough, enormous balloons attached to Godzilla will rapidly inflate and drag it back up to the surface at high speed, causing catastrophic decompression. Noda is honest with the crew. He cannot guarantee it will kill Godzilla, but it is the best shot they have. Captain Akitsu asks who is willing to stay and fight. Most of them raise their hands, not out of bravado, out of exhaustion. There is nothing left to lose. Shikishima has a separate request. He wants to fly. He has tracked down a surviving kamikaze fighter aircraft, a Shinden, a beautiful, experimental plane that was never fully deployed, and he wants to use it to lure Godzilla and, if necessary, to fly it directly into the creature. He goes to find Tachibana. Tachibana shows up at his door in the middle of the night and punches him first. Then they talk. Shikishima asks for help. He tells Tachibana that he knows this war never ended for either of them, and that this is their chance to finish it. Tachibana agrees. He spends the night going over the aircraft, tuning every component, checking every system. When he hands Shikishima the controls the next morning, the plane is perfect. But before Shikishima leaves, Tachibana pulls him aside. He shows him something he added to the plane that was not in the original design, an ejection seat. He tells Shikishima, kamikaze pilots did not get ejection seats, but this one does. He is not ordering him to come back. He is just making it possible. Shikishima leaves a letter for Akiko. An envelope of money and a note that says it is for her. Only for her. The operation begins. The ships broadcast underwater sounds designed to provoke Godzilla, mimicking a rival creature. It works. Godzilla surfaces, massive and furious. Shikishima takes the Shinden into the air with Noriko's photograph mounted in front of him. He radios Noda and tells him he is ready to draw Godzilla in. What follows is a sequence of pure controlled chaos. The ships deploy the cable system. Godzilla thrashes against it. They drag it down into the trench. The pressure readings spike, but Godzilla is still alive, still fighting. Noda triggers Plan B. The balloons inflate and begin pulling Godzilla upward at tremendous speed. The decompression should be catastrophic. But Godzilla breaks through the surface early, spines already lighting up, and aims the heat ray at the fleet. Shikishima does not hesitate. He pushes the Shinden into a dive, directly toward Godzilla's open, glowing mouth, and fires the ejection seat. The plane enters the heat ray beam and detonates. Godzilla's body comes apart piece by piece as the energy tears through its own cells. Godzilla collapses into the sea. The crew stares in silence. Then they start cheering. Shikishima floats down beneath his parachute, alive, toward a rescue boat. Sumiko arrives at the dock with little Akiko. She shows Shikishima a letter. He reads it and immediately starts running. He gets to the hospital, and there is Noriko, badly injured, scarred from the shock wave. She looks at him and asks quietly, "Is it over?" He nods and holds her. And then, in the final shot, deep beneath the ocean, a fragment of Godzilla's destroyed tissue begins to move. Cells dividing, regenerating. It is not over. It is never over. If you enjoyed the breakdown, drop a like, subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you in the next one.